we've got our highlighter selected, and we read the question task as always at the outset. Which one of the following functions in passage B in a way most like the way that the mention of Darwin's correspondence functions in passage A? So we're looking for functions in passage B most like the Darwin's correspondence functions in passage A. Now you will have to go find that correspondence. And if you recall from one of our other videos where we worked through the full upfront read, you might remember where that correspondence is, and you can, if you'd like, at this point, use the find text for that one specific term of correspondence. You can see it's starting to get highlighted, and you can find it. That's the only time you're going to want to engage with this find text tool. Never use the find text tool when you're looking through the answer choices. Also note that it does do some funny things, like now I can see the correspondence is like not highlighted in the task. So there are some functionality issues that do exist in the find text tool. You only want to use it if you're being very targeted. And in this case, you could do so for this sentence. And when you have a clearly relevant subject within a passage, you can highlight it in a different color. So we'll take the pink and we'll highlight this sentence that deals with Darwin's correspondence. And I have to read at least a sentence above and a sentence, well, not below because the passage closes at this point. But we know from the main idea highlight of this second paragraph of the passage A, three characteristics of Darwin's intellect and personality mark him as a scientist who found the right balance in this essential tension, a balance that helped him accomplish a major paradigm shift. And we can see through the remaining highlighted sentences of this paragraph that Darwin always sought the opinions of his peers, and he placed a high value on considering alternative evidence. And we can see that his critics rarely presented him with a challenge that he hadn't already addressed. And we're basically talking about how Darwin was so dedicated to tapping these resources of the scientific community that he had as collaborators. So we know that the function or purpose, the why that this reference to Darwin's correspondence exists, is basically to exemplify how much Darwin valued and engaged with the opinions of his fellow scientists. So we then can go into passage B, and we just want to go find something similar to that in passage B. And it just so happens that our highlighted sentence at the end of the second or the first paragraph of the second passage is that similar kind of exemplifier of these two scientists, Halton Arp and William Tift, who we in other videos have been calling A&T, how they did the same kind of collaborative work to try to work through their theories. And that highlighted sentence says, A&T have been curious in examining strange patterns found in their early observations. They have been creative in trying to devise an interpretation of the results, and they have been critical of their own work by seeking new observations and encouraging others to make independent observations. So again, once you start getting into the specific term, location, detail, purpose questions, you could use a different color to highlight and find excerpts, subject matter that you believe really does answer the question proactively for whatever problem you're looking at, such as how what we just highlighted in pink here is really the same kind of functionary as Darwin's correspondence was in passage A. So now we just go through the answer choices looking for something that at least broadly matches that pink highlight that we just found. So the point regarding the role of anomalous phenomena in relation to the three modes of thought, well, this quite frankly just doesn't match our prediction that we found, and that's the value of the prediction. So we can eliminate choice A by saying it's got nothing to do with the anomalous phenomena. The mention of A&T's longstanding claim regarding the redshift. Well, again, this is the exam just hoping that you are going to select this because you remember the terms ARP, TIFT, and redshift, but that has nothing to do with the observations and encouraging others to make independent observations themselves that we said is literally the information that functions the same way that Darwin's correspondence did. So we'll eliminate choice B for that reason. The reference to the commonly accepted interpretation of the redshift, again, it has nothing to do with the redshift specifically at this point. The statement that A&T have encouraged others to make independent observations, ding, 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 that is it exactly. And lastly, the observation that A and T have come to be regarded somewhat as heretics. Again, if you worked through this passage in full in one of our other videos for the questions of this set, you'll remember that phrasing, but it is absolutely there just to kind of shock and awe you into remembering it and selecting it for that reason. But as you can see, if we work through our targeted reread for the correspondence, you could use the find text tool if you like for that specific application, really only. You can go find the information. You can answer the question proactively in your own words, or in this case, highlighting the literal information that is complementary in a similar fashion in passage B before working through the answer choices, looking for reasons to eliminate, and of course, using that highlighter. Whether you use the first color or the second color doesn't really matter as long as you are identifying why you're eliminating and ultimately highlighting as well why the correct answer is correct.